uranium trade is the ugliest chart I can find.
This all happened when gold peaked. Gold peaked and uranium, rare earths, all this stuff started to come apart.
Private equity companies, BlackRock went from 160 to 142. There is clearly a deleveraging going on in the equity market. Have you seen MP Materials lately?
No.
Halved from the peak at 100. It's now trading around 50. It looks like it probably gets halved again, maybe twice more. Card-carrying communist Muslim mayor of New York.
The demographics of New York have changed a lot in the last few years. I don't think Mamdani is going to last 4 years. I think he's either going to be dead or in jail.
What's happening, good people? We are here to record Macro Dirt Podcast number 70 with my man JD, who just got out of the barber chair, still looks like $1 million. How are you, bro?
What is up?
Oh my God. I mean, this is an unbelievable day to talk about anything. There's so much shit going on, like we might be here for hours. What's going on with you? What's top of mind?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I'm a big Backstreet Boys fan, and I went to see them at the Sphere
in public. Go ahead.
Yeah, I went to see them at the Sphere in Vegas.
How was that?
It was one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life.
Get out! Incredible. Really?
Yeah, it was really, really good. Yeah,
wow.
and they got extended. They got some more dates in December and January. So if you're going to be in Vegas, you got to check out Backstreet Boys at the Sphere.
I'm dying to see. Go ahead.
I've been listening to their YouTube videos all morning. You know, I think so. It's 25 years since their Millennium album, which was like their big album. And there is a lot of nostalgia for that type of music. It was like a simpler time.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like when we were kids and people had nostalgia for like the 50s with like, you know, the muscle cars and the white T-shirts and, you know, 50s music. Like, I really think that this is going to endure for a long period of time. I think there's going to be a lot of boy band Y2K nostalgia. You know?
Wow, that's cool. I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I'm dying to see anybody else at the Sphere. I'm dying to go back to Vegas, and I'm dying to see anyone else at the Sphere.
Yep.
Like, the place is just revolutionary, and I can't wait till they build one locally. I mean, that's got to be coming soon.
Yeah. But I got to take a victory lap on a trade.
Let's go. Which one?
DoorDash.
What's going on there? I haven't...
Pull it up. Pull it up. Look at the chart. Look at the 1 year chart.
Wow. Bell ringer. Dirt nap time.
Dirt nap time.
What's the story? Why is it collapsing?
They had earnings yesterday. They have, for some reason, they have an extraordinary amount of CapEx. And, you know, I'm pretty sure they beat their revenue numbers, but they're projecting more expenses. And, you know, this is a company that already is like some ridiculous PE, and they're basically saying that margins are going to get smaller, like, you know,
dude.
But I'm loving it. I bought I loaded up on puts on this thing about 3 months ago. So
did you?
Yeah.
Nice. Good for you, man. I mean, while we're on that victory lab, we can take a small one on, you know, calling out the PE companies, private equity companies, right? BlackRock went from 160 to 142.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there are some serious moves going on there. There is clearly a deleveraging going on in the equity market. You know what I mean? Like, the leadership trades that were surrounding the metal space, like the rare earth trade. Have you seen MP Materials lately?
No.
Halved from the peak.
Wow.
Halved from the peak at 100. It's now trading around 50. It looks like it probably gets halved again, maybe twice more. No exaggeration. It's going to get halved again. I mean, almost definitely. The uranium trade coming apart. The uranium trade is the ugliest chart I can find. We just had a second push toward the highs on the last set of headlines, and a complete knife down failure. Now we've broken the bottom of the range. We've broken moving averages. They're going to shit all over these companies. Absolutely shit on.
Just educate me on this. I haven't looked at uranium in a while. I know Cameco was up like $18 one day, like put in a new high. Like, what's going on with that?
Well, there's a big blow off top in uranium. That's basically it. Cameco came out with, what did they do? When they gapped higher, when they inked the deal with Westinghouse and the Department of Energy, right? That was the gap from, it had $100 high. It was trading around 90. They announced the deal with the Energy Department between Westinghouse, Cameco, and Brookfield. The stock gapped to 100, traded up to 110, and is now 90 offered. You know what I mean? So it's got another, blow off top. I'll put the chart up, and it looks terrible. I mean, I won't say CCJ doesn't look terrible yet. The leader of the pack, the bull trend is still intact. We're going to test the moving averages. Like you don't have a blow off top like that and not just bang into the moving averages, which are like close by 80, between 80 and 85.
Yeah,
that's where it's going. That's where it's going. We have to get all the leverage out. All the leverage came out of Bitcoin. Right?
Yes.
Pretty hellacious move.
So,
from like,
by the way, I just want to put in a PSA here.
Yeah.
When I put the DoorDash puts on, I talked about them on the Macro Dirt. I'm pretty sure I did, unless like I'm getting old and like my memory fails me. But I'm pretty sure I talked about it on the Macro Dirt. I also have puts on MicroStrategy, which I did not talk about. But I bought puts on MicroStrategy like a week or two ago, and I think this thing's coming apart like a soup sandwich.
Dude, this thing is going to get. I mean, he's only got one choice. He can come in and buy size again on the dip, and that's it. Right? Like there's no other way. And if you ask me in Bitcoin, I wrote a really long note about it yesterday that got really good reviews, which I'm happy about because it's not my like wheelhouse, but I just look at it like an old school trader, and that does apply. We had, like we mentioned, we were like, dude, this thing is failing 125 badly, right? Yep. We flagged that. And in my opinion, we haven't recovered from that yet, right? The last peak to 125, we are now knifing lower. And I don't really know. We have an isolated low around 98K from back in June. That was the low of this move so far. So there's a chance we hold this horizontal range here. I just don't think so. I think more leverage has got to come out of that market. And I think more leverage has got to come out of like these uranium, MP trade, rare earth trades. We're going to downgrade those to extremely common earths.
And by the way, that's a good joke. I should mention that's a good joke.
Okay.
This all happened when gold peaked.
Yes.
Yep. Gold peaked. And uranium, rare earths, all this stuff started to come apart, basically on the day that gold peaked.
And what was going on? I just looked this up. What was going on in the middle to late October while gold was peaking? Every investment bank was coming out endorsing the shit out of it because they want all the orders on their desk. So that's something that you and I, that we called out that gold was definitely running into some trouble, and silver too. But it just dawned on me now, like, man, that was a frying pan moment. We should have remembered that when Goldman, Bank America, everybody but Citigroup was the only one that issued caution, and they issued a caution near the highs. But that's one of the things, right? When they're all out, it's like they're out talking to the desks, they're getting the orders, the positions are going on, and now what? You know what I mean? And where's the follow through? And we haven't gotten that. So, there's a couple of markets that look, really vulnerable, including the S&P to me, not for a hellacious slide, but it looks like the S&P has got to crash into the 50-day moving average again and test it.
Yep.
So what's rallying though, JD? This is interesting to me.
Bonds are rallying.
Solar stocks are still rallying. Oil services are rallying. Semiconductors won't stop.
Tell me about oil services. What's going on there?
It's kind of like a value play a little bit, right? The only thing that's going on, like I don't have a great story, but it's a typical blue sky breakout in the TG macro like vernacular, right? The oil services traded off from 350 to 200, way below the moving averages, and then kind of creeped higher as oil was kind of creeping lower because the stock market's going up and these stocks are still cheap. We got above all the moving averages at 250, and OIH is on its way to 300. So
I've been hearing a lot of chatter about oil services and natural gas, and I just can't pull the trigger yet. I can't.
Look at this. I'll give you. Schlumberger to me is another gorgeous chart. Schlumberger, wow. I'm going to put that one up where it's been in a downtrend since the middle of 2023. It's only bumped its head on the 200-day twice. Now it's testing the 200-day again after holding a 50% Fibonacci retracement. And it's got like a triple bottom around 30. And now we're trying to break above the 200-day. It's just got no like oomph because stocks are getting slaughtered right now. So that's what a lot of the oil services charts look like. They've been consolidating for years, and they're good, clean balance sheet companies now. You know what I mean? They're trading dirt cheap valuations, and oil to me is still something that I'm keeping an eye on for an upside trade because I've got this BCOM cup and kind of a BCOM cupping pattern that I can't get out of my head. That I'm wondering, JD, the timing of like if we're going to have some kind of a deleveraging or an unwind at some point in technology, like maybe the NASDAQ sells off a bit, I'm wondering if we don't get a rush of money into commodities.
Yeah. And, once again, the BCOM is about 35% gold and oil.
Yeah. Yeah. Good
So
point.
you need gold and oil to rally.
Yep.
So it's like 7 or 8% corn, 7 or 8% soybeans.
And have you seen the grains? The grains are trying to turn. We just had early in the week, we had big 2 sigma rallies in wheat that got it above all the moving averages. Soybeans got above a flat top at $11. And
higher highs there.
Yeah. Say again?
Higher highs there.
Yeah,
in beans.
Exactly. But you know what else I want to give us a little credit for in hindsight, JD? You and I were talking nonstop about the BCOM at the dead ball low, saying
dead balls low. That was last year.
Last year. And you remember you and I, like, we were like, look at the BCOM, dude. Like we would get on and not know what to talk about. And it would be like, how about the BCOM? This is cheap. Like, this is like, you know what I mean? Like this is bottoming type stuff. And we were right. So now it looks like if we break above this flat top, which is around 110, that's after a 3-year consolidation period, man. You know what I mean? And we've got this bull market in gold. We've got copper catching up. We've got silver catching up. We've got uranium consolidating, and MP rare earths consolidating. But this is just a fascinating trade to me and a fascinating time in the trade. It really is. So we've got technology rallying, solar rallying. We've got some energy stuff rallying. There was a beautiful breakout in healthcare. Just to illustrate how good this market is to trade, if you put on a blue sky trade in healthcare, you're up like 20%, meaning after a consolidation, trading a recovery through the moving averages, just a gorgeous technical breakout like solar looked like a couple of months ago. So there are many, many bull markets going on within this pullback that we're seeing here. So that still gives me a lot of optimism. I just feel like the leadership is changing a little bit. You know what I mean? And all of it makes kind of sense. Like gold miners are up 100% and change in a year. Makes sense that people might sell that. So
yeah,
that's where we are, man. What else do we have to discuss in the markets? Rates have been kind of sideways, right, JD? 10-year yields kind of like bobbling around 4% with no economic data coming out, or some. Actually, we're back to getting data. Sorry about that, right?
No, we're still not getting data. We're getting some data. We're getting the ISM stuff. Anything that's not BLS, we're getting.
Right. Because I saw some data come across the tape last week, and I forgot who was reporting and who wasn't. So we're getting intermittent economic data. Bonds are kind of sideways, but with an upside bias, I think, as well.
You know what I want to talk about is the Supreme Court case with the tariffs.
Oh, you have to lead that charge. That's not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, okay. So they had oral arguments, and the conservative justices in particular were very skeptical of the tariffs. Like, just reading body language out of the Supreme Court, it looks like they're going to invalidate Trump's tariffs. If that happens, I mean, it's going to be pandemonium, but I think the dollar is up 2% on a rope if that happens.
Stocks maybe too, man, right? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. Bonds should theoretically be down depending on what the ruling is. But dude, like the decision is coming in December, like early December, like this is coming. And it could be big. So
very interesting. All right. Well, I'm glad we're posting our listeners on that. I'll kind of bring that towards the top of my radar screen and we'll follow it closely. along those lines, the dollar, you had a good call. You were bullish. The dollar traded up to 100. It's banging its head on the 200-day moving average. Resistance.
That is big resistance there. Big resistance at 100.
Let's pay close attention. That's one of the things that you don't take off the top of your radar screen right now is the dollar index, man. That thing can go 5 handles in a heartbeat, right? It can faint at the 200-day and resume a really serious downtrend, and it might clip all of those like structural shorts out there if it gets above the 200-day. So that'll be interesting to see. And then we'll see if that puts downside pressure on the metals trade or not. In the past, obviously, the weaker dollar has not meant a sell-off in gold and silver or metals, right? Like, so they've been rallying simultaneously. Is there anything that we need to cover in the markets, JD? What are we leaving out? I feel like we did a pretty good scrub.
Yeah, let's go off market.
Let's go off markets. Let's talk about Mayor Zoran Mamdani. Now, you were the first person that wrote in a dirt nap. I don't know how long ago, but I almost came through the phone and strangled you. You wrote, dude, New York is begging for communism. And I still had the chip on my shoulder where I wasn't seeing it. And I was like, dude, what is wrong with you? Like, are you mad? Like, what are you thinking about? Card-carrying communist Muslim mayor of New York. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the demographics of New York have changed a lot in the last few years. When Rudy Giuliani was elected in 1992, he won 51-49. He won 51% of the vote, 51-49 over Dinkins. And he won in Brooklyn and Queens, because you had blue-collar white families that were more conservative.
Cops. Yep,
that lived in Brooklyn and Queens. Dude, the demographics of New York have just totally flipped. Yeah. So in the Bronx and in the upper part of Manhattan, you have huge immigrant populations. In Williamsburg and throughout Brooklyn and Queens, you have Trustafarians. You have
Gen Z.
Gen Z. Like, this was inevitable. And I've been following this for a long time. They, even before Mamdani was elected, you've had DSA city council members, increasing for the last couple of election cycles. Mm-hmm. So this was going to happen eventually. The irony is that, Mamdani has framed this as a cost of living crisis, and he wants to freeze rents and freeze prices and have government grocery stores, which counterintuitively is going to cause prices to go up. It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Dude, I think New York is in a death spiral. Like, first of all, I'll have a hot take right here. I don't think Mamdani is going to last 4 years.
I agree with you 100%.
I think he's either going to be dead or in jail in 4 years.
Those are some freaking calls. You have got some cojones with those two calls. Wow. Let me tell you my view. I'm definitely a little scared of the collateral damage that we may face with him enabling God knows what kind of crime level. But I feel like yesterday was the ultimate blow off top in New York City panic. You know what I mean? Like yesterday, everybody was tweeting like, every conservative basically influencer out there is tweeting, writing the obituary for New York. And all I can say is I've been here my whole life, and this is the 9th obituary that we're writing for New York City. And let me just take a look at real estate prices. They haven't budged. Okay, so that's interesting. It may happen, but that's what I think eventually is going to be the case. And this, to me, is the pendulum reaching the nadir, and we're going to see what this guy brings. Everybody's going to dislike it. The president is going to totally squeeze him out and make him as ineffective as he can. And then he's, like you said, I think he just gets voted out. I don't know what if anything radical happens, but that wouldn't shock me either with what's going on in the world nowadays. Very interesting conversation, though, right? His biggest support group, do you know who it was? Gen Z women. 85% of that category he got. Wow. 85% of Gen Z women are voting for a card-carrying communist mayor of New York. That is a disgruntled class of people, right? If they're not going to get if they're not going to be treated fair economically, they are going to start voting radically to fix it. So that's what we're getting. And I truly believe, I mean, as a lover of New York City, I've been here my whole life. Like, I think that there's still a bright, bright day for New York. And it seems like it would be an obvious bottom if we elect a Muslim mayor 24 years after 9/11. That's the low. Just me.
Well, that's some good sentiment trading right there.
Yeah.
I'm a little concerned. I mean, he's only 34.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be a 2-term mayor of New York. He'll be 42, and then he's going to be running for national office.
Wow. Yeah. Good point, man. That would be unbelievable. Well,
and look, let's give him some credit. He is a gifted politician. He is smooth as a gravy sandwich. The guy is slicker than snot on a doorknob.
I'm pissed
He's very
off.
well spoken.
I'm pissed off that I love his smile. Bothers the shit out of me. Guy's got a Hollywood smile, belongs on the cover of goddamn magazine. I hear you. You can't make this stuff up. It's going to be an interesting project to follow, though, right?
Yeah. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you vote? No, you didn't vote. You're not in New York City.
No, not in New York.
Would you have voted for Sliwa or Cuomo?
Sliwa.
You would have voted for Sliwa?
Yeah. I met him in New York City one day randomly outside of Madison Square Garden. And I went up to him and I shook his hand and I was like, Curtis, I really appreciate a lot of the work that you've done in New York City. I think it goes very unrecognized. And he was as cordial and kind and cool as a guy could have been to me. You know what I mean? And I just appreciate that. Cuomo, I'm not getting over the COVID thing with Cuomo. I'm not giving him a pass on that, right? There was too much. I don't even want to go into it, but I would not have cast a vote for the guy. What about you?
I would have voted for Cuomo.
Yeah.
Not because I like Cuomo.
Well, because to give him the win. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. But honestly, I think Cuomo, and I have some inside information on this, but I think Cuomo has done his penance for his time as governor. You know what I mean? I think he genuinely regrets some of the things that he did. I think he's done his penance. I honestly think he's a good guy. I mean, he's a career politician, but I do think he's a good guy at heart, so.
He's clearly a family guy. I love that his family is involved in his campaign. I agree with you that it seems like a situation where things didn't go perfectly for him, but he is a survivor. I think he's got enough support to be a survivor, so I won't take that away from him at all. Speaking of surviving, I try to contribute to my own survival. I just finished a 72-hour fast.
Dude, I can't even do a 1-hour fast.
It was hard, but I wound myself up for it for like a month because I read everything on the internet about this 72-hour fast after hearing Dana White brag that he did it. And the benefits of it are twofold, right? You invoke ketosis, so your body starts burning fat after you burn all the glucose and sugar and carbs. Extremely healthy for your system, but it ignites a setup called autophagy. And autophagy is when you basically produce new blood cells that run through your system and blow out all of the damaged cells. Those are the cells that are susceptible to diseases like cancer and other diseases. So that's why I starved myself for 3 days. I feel like $1 million. I slept like a baby on an empty stomach.
Did you lose weight?
You know what? I'm at my office and I don't have a scale here.
Yeah.
So I think that I probably lost some weight because I lost a lot of water weight in the first couple of days, like more than I could have conceived. And then what was amazing was that last night when I was reaching 72 hours and about to break my fast, I wasn't even hungry. There's a certain clarity that you get. There's a certain brain clarity that you get during ketosis that I was looking forward to discovering. And it's really pretty powerful. Like there is a certain wow, I feel really awake here. I don't need caffeine. I am focused. And so it just felt good. It just felt good to do.
So what was your first meal after the fast?
You got to start slow. Last night I had scrambled eggs and avocado with olive oil and salt. I didn't want to bombard my
corned beef hash.
No. I'm winding up. I'm going to cook everything under the sun this weekend. I'm making a roast beef. I'm making pork carnitas. I'm making a lemon meringue pie. I'm going to make shrimp cocktail. I'm going to eat everything under the sun. But it's going to be fun, man. So, JD, how excited are you to come to Nashville for the TG Macro Conference? Tickets are flying off the shelf.
Yeah, I got to get tickets. Plane tickets. I don't need tickets to the conference. I'm a speaker, but yeah, I got to get my plane tickets. You know, the nice thing is that there's a direct flight from Myrtle Beach to Nashville on Southwest.
Oh,
so it's a piece of cake. Like I'm there like in an hour and a half. It's super easy.
dream.
So
that's nice because that's like a 4-hour door-to-door trip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a nothing. That's amazing. And then you land in Music City, USA. You know what I mean? And I mean, as excited as I am for the conference, because I can't wait to hang out with you and Doomberg and JJ and Maggie. But I've got 2, maybe 3 speakers in my pocket that are going to really, really open people's minds. You know, one of them doesn't really speak often at conferences. And I think that when I announce them, we're going to sell this thing out. We're going to sell this thing out, or at least I'm going to die trying, like 50 Cent. But it's going to be fun, man. Nashville's a fun place, and I'm building a fun time around this conference, and we're all going to have an absolute blast. So that's going to be a really exciting milestone for TG Macro, man. I can't be more excited. So JD, leaving off here, the S&P 6750, gold at $39.80, silver at $48. When we come back next week, what do you think we're going to be looking at? And you make 1 or 2 calls off the cuff, and I'll make 1 or 2 calls off the cuff for our listeners.
Gold down, stocks down. I don't know if I have anything more than that. I think gold needs to test the 50-day. I do.
Yeah.
I think gold needs to get to below 3,800. So
that would be great. If you've noticed, like JD has on the last couple of dips, we haven't gotten near that goddamn moving average yet to see if it's going to react yet. So I'm looking forward to that test too. And, you know, just to keep it in line, maybe it's a consensus trade for our clients, but I still think that between now and next week, there's going to be a big S&P, like at least one big 200-point down move or something like that, or 150-point down move. And I'm not sure what's going to happen, because I really do believe that these metals trade, the dips in the metals trade are going to be met with buying. And I think the dips in metals are going to be met with buying too. We just haven't found that auction price yet. So we'll see. I do think that I think that the high of the year is without a doubt in gold and silver. That's a bridge I'm willing to die on, or at least put up a good fight. Anyway. All right, gang, that's a wrap. Subscribe to the Dual sub.
Yes.
Read the Navigator, read the Dirt Nap for a 25% off price, which is an amazing value play. Like, subscribe, and we're going to keep rolling. I hope we see all you guys in Nashville in February.
Hasta la pasta.
Hasta la pasta, everybody.